Hello, YouTube. I thought I would interrupt my afternoon copy in order to talk about Rhum Agricole from Martinique with you. Now, I already did a series on Martinician rums, and one of the sort of better options there, in my opinion. Second, perhaps not even second, only to Nisson, is Rhum JM. Used to be independent, not anymore. It's sad, but moving on. Terrific producer located in basically right at the northernmost point of the island, at the base of there's a volcano and I've totally forgotten the name, but sort of right at the base of the volcano, right on the edge of the ocean. Very picturesque. Now I have reviewed their Blanc, their white rum, unaged rum, before, and I liked it very much. I gave it an 87 out of 100. The occasion for this video is mainly this new, shiny new version, which is bottled, and I'm not sure if you can see this, at 55% alcohol as opposed to the mere 50%, which is in the other edition. You can also buy this at 40%, but do you want to do that really? I mean, do you really? It also comes in a liter bottle, so it's sort of bar ready. And just to give it a good sparring partner, I went out and, I pulled from my archives really. This Rhum JM bottle, this is a single barrel Rhum Réserve Spéciale. This was selected by Binny's here in Chicago. This is cast number 1409-158, and it looks like it was basically aged for 3 or 4 years. I can't actually tell. So the dates say 12-07 I'm sorry, 1-09-2014, but bottled in 12-07 2018. And I can't tell whether those first numbers represent day and then month or then day. So I actually have no idea how old this is. It's 3 or 4 years. Let's put it that way. All in American oak, 372 bottles. And that's what we got. So this is going to be a Rhum JM episode. So some young oaky stuff versus a even younger, actually sort of not even aged white option. All right, here we go. Let me get some water. And the question you may be having is, okay, even if I buy this, what am I getting above and beyond the standard 50%? Because it's a little bit more expensive. It's not that much more expensive, but it is a little bit more expensive. So, what are you getting, especially if you already have a bottle of the other one? Well, we can check that too, because here I have that other bottle. And we are going to put this right here for comparison. All right. Is this a good place for the camera? Sure, that'll do. All right, let's get dug into this. So this is the 55% Rhum JM Agricole Blanc. Okay, so the main thing I'm getting here. So I remember this being a very quiet rum. Let's just double check that. Very quiet, actually. I mean, similar. Just with the volume turned way down. Like this is, we're in sort of Brian Eno sort of music for airports mode here. Here we sort of, normalized everything, cranked the, compressed everything all the way up. Bigger, a little bit fruitier too, actually. Kind of a toasted citrus peel thing is leading the way. Mainly grapefruit, a little like lemon and lime too. little toasted lime peel. A little bit of a burning plastic note, like you set on fire the inside of a Kia, something like that. There's a huge, just fennel licoricey note, which I'm enjoying very much. A little kind of like a rusty thing, like a rusty penny. Little olivey, like just a couple green olives, just throw them in there, and some hibiscus tea. We've been drinking a lot of hibiscus tea recently because my daughter loves it. Don't ask me what she probably loves the honey that we put in the tea more than the hibiscus. But you know it. I'll take what I can get. Very briny. Really kind of brine and olive juice, both kind of in one. Some dried flowers in there, kind of a little bit of a floral note, not too much. Something in this reminds me of cheap Pinot Noir, like like Trader Joe's $6 bottles of Pinot from like that get very pickly, and actually just some straight up kosher pickles. Throw those in there too. Very So I prefer to reserve the term funk for the aromatics you tend to get on very sort of high ester pot still rums. But these are some crazy aromatics of their own. Let's call these psychedelic. I propose that. So this is a very psychedelic rum, man. A little sauerkraut in there on the palate. Well, hang on. Let me try this little guy first. Yeah, just way quieter on the nose. A little more herbaceous too, less fruity on the palate. Oh, that is nice. It's just really well made rums. Let's try the Big Brother. I will link that earlier review down there if you want sort of detailed flavor notes for this guy here. You would think from the changes on the nose that this would be more fruity than this, but it really isn't. It's kind of the same thing. Honestly, very subtle differences. Actually, let's just call this subtle in general. Very herbaceous. Kind of leads on fennel. Kind of an absinthe pastis kind of note. Olives again, big time. Big, heavy on the green olives. A little freshly mowed grass. There's a little bit of fruitiness in there. There's some grapefruit, particularly like the pith, the white stuff. Maybe you can like toast that up a little bit first. Manuka honey, like big kind of hefty, aggressive honey. Kind of a pink peppercorn thing, which I like. Like something medicinal. It's not really like Lafroigy. This is more like you just took some pills and you kind of crushed the medication. A little bit of a mint thing, like leafy mint. Oh, okay. Well, okay. First of all, there's a little bit of a kind of lemon zest, like ashy lemon zest, like you burned your lemon zest in this. Kind of a little Lagavulin 8-year-old. But what sort of struck me there was do you know that's the sort of stuff that the dentist or the orthodontist uses to make a cast of your mouth? That sort of weird, gooey stuff that you kind of have to bite into. And that there's a little bit of that taste in here, alongside the sort of crushed pills kind of thing. Let me try this. That's 50% one more time. Much more pulled back, much more reserved. Back to 55. Yeah, it's going to be the, once we reduce these, that's going to tell the tale. But, yeah, at the moment, this is just more kind of vivid, if I had to pick a word. All right, I'm going to give these some squirts. 2, let's start with 3. I'll give these 2. Let's see if that was good enough. We're good to go. And same thing. There we go. Okay. All right. So, all right, let's move on to the this single barrel option. So it says old, which in France means young. France. Okay, 47.3% alcohol, so less strong than this guy, or this guy for that matter. But it has seen 3 years in fairly active American oak, and you can tell that it was fairly active by the color. Yeah, just a totally different nose. I did complain about sort of oak influence and the especially with American oak in a different video. I'll link that up down below. How, you know, especially with reference to Agricoles, how there's a way that American oak just turns these guys into bourbons. And that you would think, like, this is one you could sneak into a bourbon tasting really, really, like, blind and really sort of mess with people. Because it really does nose like a bourbon initially. But like a bourbon with, like a ton of wet grass. Yeah, it's really the wet grass, and there's like a fennel herbaceous note coming through from the spirit. That's the only thing that gives it away. But otherwise, it's you know, we're on vanilla, sawdust, you know, clove, some cinnamon, a little bit of a nutshell note. But it becomes, along with the sort of herbaceous thing and the grass thing, there's a little bit more of a floral note here than you would ever get in any bourbon. Sort of, yeah, just acacia, throw some just straight up wildflowers in there, some lavender, and even some like orange marmalade. Just a splash of orange marmalade, throw that in. White pepper, spritz of lemon as along with that, and then something that smells like a mix between like absinthe and like green tea, like not high end green tea. This is like restaurant green tea. I mean, so it's leaning bourbon, but there are all these other little elements going on that tell you, hey, something funny is going on here. This might be an Agricole underneath. The spirit is speaking up here much more than with that Clement I reviewed in the other video. On the palate, oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, very... Okay, where do I start with this? This is a very unbourbon-like mingling of that sort of sweet oak kind of note, which might trick you initially. Again, you can trick people on blind tastings with this stuff. So vanilla milkshake kind of thing. Some cinnamon, again, like a... lots of like wood tannins, a little bit, some aromatic teas, some dark roast coffee grinds, like kind of woody stuff. But then, But then the herbaceousness kind of rolls right on in, and a sort of citrusy thing. You're getting sort of absinthe notes, a little mintiness, a little fennel. So it's a little very savory, mixed in with that sort of shaky quality. But you're getting some like not grapefruit this time. It's more like blood orange, honestly. But throw some lemon peel in there. And even like yeah, definitely lemon peel. Wow. Okay. And even like a hint of sherry, like not I mean maybe like a very light Amontillado, but it's more like a fino, like a high end fino, like or even like a Manzanilla and Rama. If they do they make those? I know the and Ramas are those tend to be good. Um, um, and again the floral note, it feels like I'm chewing on flower petals a little bit, which is nice and very very unbourbon like. But you are still getting that sort of oaky milkshake all over everything. So don't get it too twisted. This is not traditional French spirits at all. Okay, let me give this a squirt of water, and we will go back to the whites. Maybe like a squirt and a quarter. Let's see if that's good enough. Mm-hmm. All right, go back through. Back to the well. Let me try the 50% again. This okay. Now they're sort of converging a little bit. This has become a little bit more fruity on the nose. Herbaceousness is still very absinthy. Actually. Okay, back to its sort of the new big kid on the block. Yeah, just more vivid. This feels it's a little bit like a digital film restoration. Like does it add that much? No, but it kind of like just brings things out a little bit more. Very grapefruity, more fruity. I mean, that's the big substantive change. But the herbaceousness is still there. It's just the fruit has kind of come to meet it. Very grapefruity. Some lychee fruit, some kiwi in there. Or the hibiscus is still there. The lemon peel, toasted lemon peel thing is still there. But it's really those sort of absinthe notes that are still providing the background, or no, background works too. I was thinking backbone, but I said background for some reason. A little tar, little really tar smoke, like you put down some fresh tar and then you lit it on fire because that's why wouldn't you? A little vinegar, like a sherry vinegar thing. I mean, it's a very impressive nose, actually. There's just lots of little things going on, lots of little things balancing off against each other. I mean, this is another example of why people should be paying more attention to unaged spirits, because they can do things like this. They can offer up these kinds of nuances and complexities. On the palate, no, wait, back to the 50%. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the fennel and the even a little bit of juniper just dominates this. Oh, there's a little wormwood even. Oh, that's nice. This is still pretty good. Very herbaceous, very absinthy. This is where you go for if you don't want to pay like $50 for a bottle of entry level absinthe. But back to the 55 for comparison. Mm-hmm. Oh, Okay, with this guy, the herbaceous. Oh, okay. So now they're converging again. Um, this guy becomes more herbaceous than it was before. Um, but it's still really nicely balanced. There's this sort of citrusy grapefruit thing, but it's really sort of, met and sort of just beaten out by the fennel and the anise and that sort of crushed medicine, dentisty, mold stuff. Some chalk in there. Mm-mm. Okay, wait. Okay, beyond the chalk, there's a little bit of a floral note coming out, which is almost soapy. Ooh, I don't think that the glass is tainted. I think it's just something, maybe something with the fermentation. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, just a little bit. It comes out on the finish. Just a little bit of sort of floral soapiness, but not too much. It's sort of in tandem with this sort of general, more nice floralness. Um, Oof, that's new. I hadn't noticed that before. Um, there's a little ginger too. Um, some like unripe apple. Like you picked an apple that was still really, really, really green, and you just took a bite out of it for fun. Um, okay, so well, hold on. Let me try that one more time. Nice, nice, nice. Ooh, there it goes. Um, yeah, okay. I was gonna give this an 88 out of 100, but that floral note, that kind of floral soapy note, is bugging me. So I'm gonna tack a minus onto this, like the smallest minus you can manage, the teeny tiny little minus. So 88 minus out of 100 for this guy. Um, but I mean, at this strength, this is right up there with the Nissan Blanc for me. This is really good stuff. I don't know what's going on with the floral note, but I mean, it's kind of there, and I kind of have to grade it sort of as things come up in these reviews. There it is. Okay, let me try the 50%. See if the same thing is there. No, it is floral, but it doesn't do that soapy thing. Um, huh. Interesting. I don't think it's the glass. I would have noticed it was if it was tainted before. I think it's just maybe something weird with this batch. Anyways, 88 minus. Let's move on. Um, back to the Binny's single barrel thing. All right. On the nose. Mostly the same. There's a little bit of a kind of uh, confectionery note married to a kind of chalky note coming out. Like you grabbed the sort of erasers from the blackboard and sort of did this, but at the same time there was some like some chocolate croissants in the room that were sort of there with the chocolate cloud. I mean, it's a perfectly nice nose, but to be honest, the palate is much more interesting to me. So let's go there. Let's go straight there. Yeah, this is good. Um, this is much more interesting than the Clement. It was sort of made in similar fashion, sort of hammered with very active American oak at a young age. Gets a little more floral than it was. Neat. A little more herbaceous. Their herbs start to curl out a little bit more. It doesn't develop that much, but it does. The flowers and the sort of the fennel, um, and a little bit of what is that? Like a basil note starts to come out as well. A little bit more. It does come across. Oh, I haven't mentioned this. It does still come across as young, like all the actions in the front of my mouth. But that's no problem. I mean, it's still pretty damn good, honestly. Young, refreshing, nice. I got no problems with this. I would give this 84 plus out of 100. It's very bourbony, but it still retains enough Agricole character that I feel like this is not lost in this. So, by the way, if you're confused about why, how could I possibly be scoring something was aged in oak higher than something that wasn't, that just came straight off the still? Isn't this supposed to be better and smoother and nicer and all that stuff? No, not necessarily. Go watch that review where I talked about this stuff. Oak does not make things better necessarily. Especially, there seems to be a little bit of a curve in terms of quality with things that are oak aged. Things that are freshly distilled have an essential complexity to them, and then you throw them in oak, and a lot of that is lost immediately. And it sort of takes a long time for it to regain that sort of complexity and sort of get past its not even regain, but gain a new complexity, and then to sort of build up towards a new peak before the oak starts to really take over and you don't want to drink it anymore. Anyway, so that's what I got. What was this? 88 minus, 84 plus, and this is still an 87. Rhum JM, great house. Highly recommended. Especially the distribution is pretty good. I think it's slightly better than the Nason is. So if this is what you can get, and it's between this and Clement, get this. Get with these guys. That's kind of all I got. Thanks for watching, and cheers.